Welcome back to Dominant Mets Nation. Thank you so much for returning. All right, so today we had a nice win. The Mets defeat the Atlanta Braves 10-4, and the Mets finally are showing signs of life. Finally, they are showing glimpses of the team that we saw and fell in love from last year. Now, you know what? Before we get going, I want to say let's pump the brakes a bit right now. We are not where we need to be, but we are playing much better, much better. I have to say, now the games are getting a lot more exciting to watch. The core is really doing well. The core we kept, Nimmo, McNeil, Alonso, and Lindor, they're playing up to their abilities. We have role players stepping up. We're going to go over the Atlanta game today against the Mets, winning 10-4. I want to break that down. I want to talk about it. And then I want to go over our season and our chances, right? And I want to, like I said, I want to pump the brakes and set the expectation. Right now, we have 59 wins, 67 losses. We're 6.5 games behind the wild card. So I want to talk about some possibilities. But again, we have dug a hole. We have half our body already buried. So things are going to be tough. So let's limit expectations right now. I always say you have to get within 3 games, especially with so many teams ahead of you in the hunt. Right now, we're 6.5 games out, and it feels like we have been 6 or 7 games back for quite a long time right now. Okay, so let's get to this game. I saw a lot of nice things right off the bat. The Mets, this is a little, I would say, can't think of the right word here, but the Mets, they played the Braves last week, and let's be honest, folks, they got completely pummeled. I was saying it felt like the Mets were a high school baseball team versus a major league team last week. So it was just embarrassing to watch. It was hard to watch. I don't even know how I was watching it. It was just hard. So they faced Alan Winans last week, and he completely dominated. He went 7 innings and just made the Mets look horrible, like a little league team. All right, but this time, I got to say they got redemption. Right off the bat, the Mets were smoking the ball. Nimmo smokes the ball. Pilar makes a nice play. Then Lindor smoked one deep to center field. Harris makes a nice play. And right off the bat, they are hitting the ball hard. So that was a really good sign. Then we go to the bottom of the first inning. And I got to say, I saw the catch of the year. Michael Harris smokes a laser beam to center field. And when I saw that ball take off, all I saw is open space in center field. Brandon Nimmo comes out of nowhere and does like a Superman type of dive and basically saves what could have been an inside the park home run. So the Mets really started off this game with a flurry. Even though it was 0-0 at this point, they had been hitting the ball hard. They made a great defensive play, and at this point it's 0-0, but I got a good feeling. The Mets are playing with energy. They are looking like a major league club. And I know you're like, it's the first inning, but do you know how bad we've been in the first inning? We have been horrific in the first inning, and the Braves, if you saw the graphic, have been dominant. So I'm like, all right, so for a 0-0 first inning, that's a win for the Mets. That is a win. So then we take it to the top of the second inning, and the Mets took off. Their role players did the job. DJ Stewart started off with a home run, and I got to say, DJ Stewart could look like a potential player here. He really does. I think the guy's like 28, 29 years old, but he's looking like he could be a DH option. I like the way he approaches his at-bats, and we might have something here. So he starts off the game. It is 1-0 Mets. Then Rafael Ortega comes up a couple batters later and smokes one to right field, and now it's 3-0 Mets. Okay, fast forward to the bottom of the second inning, and Ozuna just mashes a ball, makes it 3-1, and Peterson, I don't know. I mean, this guy this whole year, he's got close to a 6 earner in average, ERA, and I had such high expectations for Peterson. Such high expectations, even more than McGill. I'm like, we got McGill and Peterson to solidify this rotation, but Peterson has let me down so much this year. It was such a mediocre performance today, but all right, let's move forward. So we go to the bottom of the third inning, and the Mets are currently leading 3-1 until Michael Harris comes up to the plate, hits a 2-run double right over Nimmo's head, almost smokes it to the base of the left center field wall. This makes it 3-3. The Braves are dancing. They're having a good time. I'm like, oh no, the game is over already. Peterson's not looking the best, but okay. So let's move forward to the fourth inning. And this is when Ozuna comes up, and he just mashes his second home run of the game, making it 4-3. So, I'm like, again, the game is over. The game is over. This is where the Braves take control. This is where it is. The game is out of reach. I know it's only 4-3, but the Braves are a lot more superior of a team right now. Okay, but this is come to my surprise. We go to the top of the fifth inning, and the Mets do something that they would have done last year. They have an inning that surprised the heck out of me. It started off, McNeil had an RBI single, ties the ball game, 4-4, great. Alonso, RBI single, through the hole, 5-4, great. Vogelbach rips a ball down the right field line, and I gotta say, Vogelbach is coming on. He's coming on as of late. Makes the ball game 6-4. DJ Stewart comes on. It was a squeeze play, and these plays, why not at this point in the season? The Mets tack on another run. Now it is 7-4. Now we go to the sixth inning. Lindor hits a 3-run homer, and that was all she wrote. Made the game 10-4. The Mets completely got their redemption on Alan Winan. He gave up 9 hits, 7 runs, and he just looked horrific. It's almost like he was tipping pitches. The Mets were jumping all over him. So I can't get too excited. It's really like they did their damage on one pitcher. The Braves, they've won 2 of their last games against the Braves. The Mets in this last week have been 7-2. So they've really had a much, much better week. In their last games, they are 7-3. So they have looked much better. Almost like the team from last year. It really does. The core was rocking and rolling and has been rocking and rolling this whole week. Brandon Nimmo had 2 hits, another 2 hits this game. Francisco Lindor had 2 hits and 3 RBIs, that home run. McNeil had 3 hits. Pete Alonso had 2 hits. DJ Stewart had 2 hits. So if you have the core doing their job, and then you have these role players, like I consider Vogelbach a role player. I consider the other guys, obviously Ortega and DJ Stewart, role players. The Mets are doing what we expected them to do. We really did. We expected the core to be this core. We kept this team, Nimmo, Lindor, McNeil, and Alonso, to build around this team. So I am actually seeing things that I always expected to see. I know it's surprising to see that the Mets won the game 10-4, but this is what they did last year. This is what they did 7-8 months ago, 9 months ago. Not even a year ago. They were playing at this level a few short months ago. And what if Verlander or a couple of the guys that got rid of, what if that was the problem? What if, they say sometimes you bring a guy into the clubhouse and he just tears the clubhouse apart. What if these guys just didn't mix in this clubhouse, and now the team is saying, you know what? This is what we had last year. This is the same type of mojo that we had last year, and let's take it and run with it. Folks, we don't know, but what we do know is what we see. And that's all I'm going off. The whole year, especially from May, June going on, I'm analyzing what I see. The Mets are 7-2 in the last 9 games, and I know everybody's saying they played a bunch of bad teams. But you know what? They got swept by the Royals 2 weeks ago. One of the worst records in all of MLB. They could have lost to your local high school team. They would have lost to anybody in the last week. So who cares if they were playing the Pirates? Who cared who they were playing? They would have lost to anybody. And again, they beat a good team tonight. They beat the Braves. So let's see how they play. They have some better opponents this week. The Mets are going to have a miracle Mets-like turnaround. They have 36 games left. They have a putrid record of 59 and 67, and they have a lot of teams to jump over. So my analysis, my prediction is for the Mets to have a chance of making the playoffs, right? And again, I want to slow things down, but you know what? Things happen. This is baseball. So the Mets, I figure, would have to go 26-10, right? 26-10 wouldn't give them a juggernaut record or even a great record. That would give them 85 wins. But with the expanded playoffs, they would have a chance. Plus, the teams in front of them, they don't have world beaters in front of them. They really don't. I mean, nobody has ran away with these wild cards. It just seems like it's been there the whole time. The Mets were like 6 or 7 games back at the end of July. Then they went through a bit of a slump, and now they won a few games, and they still 6 or 7 games back. So precisely, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams in front of them. They have 5 teams. The last playoff wildcard spot is occupied currently by the San Francisco Giants. The Giants are 3-7 in the last 10, so they are not doing well at all. They have a record of 65-60. So that is who occupies the last wild card position. And the second to last wild card position is occupied by the Chicago Cubs at 65-59. So they're only a half a game ahead of the San Francisco Giants. So no one has solidified these wild card positions. Philadelphia seems to be in the best position. They're 68-57 in the number 1 wild card position. They're 3 games over the Chicago Cubs. So there is opportunity behind San Francisco, who is in that last wild card position. You have the Arizona Diamondbacks at 65-61. You have the Cincinnati Reds at 64-61. You have the Miami Marlins at 64-62, and then you have the San Diego Padres at 60-66. So you have essentially 5 teams that you need to jump in order to attain a wild card position, right? So none of those teams are really doing well except for the Diamondbacks. San Francisco, like I mentioned, is 3-7. Cincinnati's 4-6. Miami's 4-6. And San Diego's 4-6. So all these teams are saying, like, Mets, if you want to, you can jump over us. The only person right now who's fighting are the D-backs. So I got to say, there is opportunity there. There is opportunity. So the Mets, if they play like they did last year, and they keep building, and they have like 2 ace-like performances from Quintana and Senga, and their bullpen holds up like they did this game and like they have been in the last week, who knows? I was upset that they kept Raley. I was upset that they kept Ottavino. I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's see what we get for these guys. But it seems like the Mets somehow knew what they were doing. I don't want to give them that much credit, but they kept the core, and they seem to have kept the core in the bullpen as well. They have seemed to have kept sorry about that. It seems like they have kept a core in the rotation in Quintana and Senga. So, therefore, the Mets have something, a base to build around. And then if other guys step up, that's what we know. We don't know what will happen. I mean, like I said, if you look across town and you look at the Yankees, they're 1-9 in their last 10. They're 1-9. So the Mets right now, they're the superior product in New York. They are the superior product. They're 7-3 in their last 10, and at least they are going in the positive direction. And look at it. They made all these trades at the deadline, and it looks like they could be fighting for a wild card position. Who would have thought? I mean, right after the trade deadline, and they were falling fast. I'm like, oh no, this is looking even even worse than I thought. I thought the Mets were going to fight for the worst record in baseball. And I'm like, okay, all right, you know what? We'll get a bottom 6 position. We'll get a top 6 draft pick. We'll get another asset put to our collection. It won't be that bad. But the Mets are going in the other direction. And if I had to choose one or the other, as much as I would have liked that bottom 6 pick, I think for the future of this team and for the immediate future of this team, obviously this was the better result. Obviously developing the guys and building that confidence and building that core for next year. This result of the Mets fighting for a wild card position would be more beneficial to the short-term success than dropping into the bottom 6. And who knows? They could be in the bottom 6 and they could get like a top 4, top 5 pick, top 3 pick. And who knows? They have to choose right. They have to draft right. They can get a better play at pick 19, pick 20 than even if they were in the bottom 6, plus make the wild card. So I'm saying at the end of the day, it might work out best for the Mets. It might work out best that they made all those trades at the deadline. It might work out best that they make the wild card. It might work out best that they get their guy at number 20. You never know. This is baseball. Things happen. Things happen that you don't expect. And that's the fun thing about baseball. You could wake up and the Mets, who have been horrible all year, beat the Braves, who have been the most superior team in the league all year. You just never know. You never really know. And that's why it's exciting to watch. And the Mets are becoming exciting to watch. I keep saying this video. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But just so you all know, it's 4:24 in the morning, and I had to do a video because I couldn't sleep. I was thinking about the Mets, and I was thinking about possibilities, and you just never know. You really never know. And if you're a Mets fan, if you're a baseball fan, if you can like and subscribe, greatly appreciate it. We are growing fast. Our next goal is 2,000 subscribers. We are approaching that goal, and I appreciate you. I thank you so much. I thank you for everything. I thank you for the comments. They are wonderful. Had a bunch of great comments. So please keep it up. Like and subscribe. As always, let's go Mets. I say this all the time. It can't get any worse, but it probably will. But luckily in the last week, it hasn't. Have a great night, day, whenever you are listening to this. I will speak to you soon. Later.